Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of the Shirtless Plantain Show. This is your host, Tosin, alongside Dean. How you doing today, Dean?
I am well. How are you?
Fantastic. International break is over, and we can get back to the club football that we all miss so much. First and foremost, shout out to the Culture Pod for them starting the Buckley's Man thing. That was pretty cool. It was cool to take a trip down memory lane, so shout out to them for creating that. It was nice to see all these clips and stuff of all these players we got to see over the years. How do you feel about that?
I don't like it at all. I don't like it. I'm not a big nostalgia guy myself. We need to focus on the wonder and beauty and fulfillment that we have today. Like let's get some more Kevin De Bruyne comps. We don't have enough of those. Like I don't need to see fucking Wayne Routledge set to FIFA music. Like it's not necessary. We don't need this. However, wonderful idea. It's been fun watching the comps going down memory lane. Yo, bro, I sound like Trump right now, man. I said one thing, then I just said the opposite thing, like right after. That's crazy, but that's okay. That's we gonna roll with it. But yeah, which one of the clips was your favorite? Which one did you like best? Or which one would you do if you edited a Barclays Man clip? What would you do?
I'm gonna be a prick here. First of all, I like Clint Dempsey. I don't know why Clint Dempsey's speaking to me, but I'm sorry. Nicholas Anelka is the most Barclays person ever.
I don't know.
I know it's weird, right? Nicholas started at Arsenal. He went to City when they were bad. He went to Liverpool when they were meh. He went to West Brom. He was at Bolton. Anelka got around, okay? In Yoruba, that's not shit. Well, sorry to me, that guy, Anelka, is the most Barclays person ever because he did it at the bigger clubs. He did it at the mid-table clubs. He just is. He just is to me. I'm sorry.
I almost feel as if in order to be So, okay, which one of Anelka's clubs would he most qualify as a cult hero for?
Bolton and West Brom.
Both?
The guy's everywhere, man.
I guess. I was going to go with Bolton. But I almost feel as if he belongs to West Brom more because that's where that celebration and shit, and that's what I most remember from his stint there. But yeah, I would go with Benjani. When he was at Portsmouth, I felt like that was a good pick, so
I'll go with the whole entire Portsmouth team.
Yeah, they're very Barclays Man crew of players over there. They had Kanu for a bit, who was definitely not a Barclays man. He has more heritage legacy than that, having been an Arsenal player. But I like Benjani. Remember, was it Pedro Mendes? Was it Didn't one of your players kill him once upon a time back in the
Probably.
day?
That David James, Glenn Johnson, Andy Cole was there for a bit. Kanu, Gary O'Neill, Sol Campbell was there. Lua, Pedro Mendes that you're talking about.
Correct.
Loren, Nico Cranshaw, Matty Taylor.
Nico Cranshaw might be the most Barclays man of all the Barclays men. Because if you pick the coach for your Barclays man team, it would have to be Harry Redknapp. And there's nobody he loved more than Nico Cranshaw. So... No. Yeah. But yeah, shout out to Culture. What do you call them again? Culture Pod?
Yeah.
Good on them for bringing that up. I think that's a good way to spend the international break, not arguing who is better than Saka, because nobody's better than Saka. Let's be serious about this shit, So, yeah.
I saw some Arsenal fans before we get into the actual podcast talking about, Saka has to prove himself. Saka don't got to prove nothing to nobody, okay? Saka was more number. Because they're like, Saka has to prove some shit. I saw some nonsense. It doesn't matter. I didn't even bring it up because it was foolishness, but I'm bringing it up now because it pissed me off. Saka has been doing this since he was wearing 87, okay? Since he was a wide receiver and now he's a quarterback, he's been doing this shit, okay? Respect my young nigga and leave him alone, okay?
Oh, man. That's hilarious. Yeah, you're right. I mean, this is a man that was carrying the team when there were grown men being assholes, and by grown men, and it's not an everlasting beef, but like Laka and Oba missing the first game of the season because they both contracted COVID because they threw a birthday party 2 days before the first game of the season. Like, I'm sorry, man, that shit. I was done with both them niggas at that time. But I say that to say Saka was around for that. He was around for all that shit. So shout out the kid. He has nothing to prove to anybody. He's been carrying Arsenal for years.
And this is a great segue because Bukayo Saka's actual home, Nigeria, they drew 0-0 against Rwanda. And as I mentioned to my friends and my family, I don't think Eguavoen should ever coach Nigeria again. I think Eguavoen after the game also said to himself, like, I'm not doing this no more. I did 2 games. That was my remit, and I'm fine. I'm out of here.
Hey man, it's not as if he lobbied for the job or anything, so it's whatever.
Yeah.
He's not a white man. They're not giving him the job anyway. It's cool.
That's exactly why. That's a part of the reason why I say that he shouldn't get the job. Number two, I just feel like Nigeria needs a strong man, a strong white man. That's what they need.
Nah, I'm not even really buying that. I've always felt like our best coach ever. I mean, like if I'm ranking coaches, like I'm not really necessarily ranking them on achievements per se. I'm just ranking them based on the quality of the football I watched. And for me, it would be Stephen Keshi at number one. Shuaibu Amadou is probably up there as well. Then you can start talking about the Dutch motherfuckers like Westerhoff and Bronfrere, who actually won things with us. But for the most part, the GOAT coach was one of the GOAT players, probably the GOAT central defender we ever had in Stephen Keshi, RIP. But, if you just fix the surrounding structure, we don't need no crackers coach the team or nothing like that. But for now, we'll have to do that because, see, the reason why they hire these white men so often in Africa is so they don't have to fix the rest of the shit. They can just say, we hired a white man. Then they don't have to do nothing else. They just steal the rest of the money. It's all good, but that's not why we're here today.
Yeah. And I mean, listen, Nigeria, there was bits where we got robbed for a goal. That goal Lookman scored, the header should have counted. But other than all, I mean, one thing that frustrates me the most, especially this iteration of Nigeria, is that we don't have center midfielders and we need center midfielders badly. So, yeah.
What are you going to do?
What can we do? But also my last take is that football development is very wild. If you had told me 3-4 years ago that it would be Fisayo Delebashiru that we playing for Nigeria, not his brother Tom, or Tomiwa, I'm not saying Tom because that's some foolishness. If that was him that would be playing, I would not believe you. But his brother now has number 10. His brother plays for Nigeria, and Tommy is in the championship, and his brother's in Serie A. So that just goes to show you development is not linear. It just should be happening.
It never is. But yeah, you mentioned a bunch of niggas I know that ain't taking us nowhere. Okay, nowhere. Like ain't no Nigerian with 3 names in his actual name worth a damn. Like Dele Bashiru. Pick one. Is Dela or is Bashiru? Ole she mejeji. Eyokon show lo ma she meji.
I can't believe Nigerians have double barrel last names. What the fuck is this?
It's not of our culture. It's heathen behavior. We don't want that. Deport them, I beg. Right?
Speaking of deportation, Brexit, England beat Finland 2-0. Kane got a brace. Good little performances. Angel Gomez showed out. It's looking good. What do you think?
Yeah, man. The Lee Carsley remontada continues. I think, it's easy to take credit away from the man because selection was made easy. The teams they're playing against are easy teams, but there's something after one guy coaches the team for like 8 years, there's something very refreshing about seeing someone just come in and do the basics right. Like, let's put a right back at right back. Let's have one creative winger and one outlet winger around a relatively stationary striker that likes to drop deep. Let's play Declan Rice with midfielders that don't treat the ball like a bomb. Yes, they will have harder tests in the future. I'm not going to say I can't wait for the next international break, but I'd like to see England play against some teams that can actually offer real threat. But so far, so good. And shout out to Trent Alexander-Arnold. These 2 games, I think it was man of the match in both games and deservedly so. I think this is the kind of game where if you have any issues with creativity in the game, watch Trent play. Creativity doesn't have to look the way you remember it looking back in the 90s or the 2000s or the way you do it on your video game or whatever. It comes in all forms, shapes, fashions, and sizes. Like Trent pinging balls from right wing, hanging out in Finland's half the whole game. The shit was beautiful to watch, man. It was beautiful. It was very wasteful at times, but it was still beautiful. So
yeah, Trent's a brilliant player, man. He's a brilliant player. Angel Gomez, man, he's I think going to League On really, really made him a man. Getting chased by Mamadou and, getting chased by Mamadou, Mohammed, and Mustafa has really made him grow up because he's a small boy.
We free in Palestine on this pod, man. You're not doing no Islamophobia on the sly, man. This ain't the debate, nigga. Chill with all that Muhammadu shit you saying, my nigga. Stop that. Stop.
But
that.
I told Abdul I have a picture of his house.
Why you say fuck me for? Poor Abdul. But yeah, Angel Gomez for real. He's definitely a quality player. It's good that a lot of the, let's call them the Little Englander observers that would dismiss a player of that size out of hand got to see him play at a high level around high level players. I thought he was very impressive. I know it's all the same to you, but one is still at your club. But I thought he was a better partner for Rice than Manu was. And that's not to say Manu was a bad player or anything. I just think the profile suits a player like Rice better. But Manu was great too. But for the way I like to watch football, I like Gomez better.
That's why I said I want to bring Angel back home next year on a free. I feel like if you put Angel deeper, like Kobe's a much better player up the field, and Kobe doesn't need to sit back. But listen, I love the way Angel played. He played very well. He offers a different profile because we said it before. We said it in Euros. Didn't we say it? We said that Angel should go to the Euros because, again, we've watched too much football. We've seen him at Lille, but I'm glad that everyone is seeing what we see. I feel like Michael Irvin. Not everybody's seeing what I've been saying. Like I feel like that, but it is what it is. Let's move on to Netherlands and Germany. This game was a barn burner. The one thing about this game that I loved the most was Ryan Gravenberg's pass. That pass was disgusting.
That was. I mean, no one player deserves credit for any one move in the sport at all. Like, no idea is original. Everything's been done. But that was very Pogba-esque. Very Paul Pogba. And he was wearing 6'2". He the same height-ish. Like, he black. This shit. I was like, whoa, am I watching France or Netherlands? It was a beautiful. Javi Simmons, man, bro, you gotta finish that. You gotta score after a pass like that. I'm sorry. Have that be part of a compilation. You gotta finish the action. But yeah. He's taken that form from Liverpool into his national team outings, and he's looked very good during this break, for sure.
Yeah. And Tijani Babangida Rangers, he scored 2 minutes into the game, and he's just been incredible this whole entire international break. I think that Milan needs to use him the same way Netherlands use him because that's a brilliant play they got over there.
I don't know that they can or that they actually should.
Okay.
Not that it's a bad idea or anything, but I just think when you think of the other people there, like, okay, if they use him that far forward, then, like, put it this way, given the fact that Benacer got injured, he has a calf injury that's going to keep him out until, I think, next year, is it? Or January? Mm-hmm. I actually feel like Reinders he has the right demeanor to actually play as a deep midfielder. He's one of those guys that can play in all three positions in a 3-man midfield. So I think I would put him as their main pivot type player, since Adli isn't there anymore either. I put him there, then play Ruben Loftus-Cheek or Pulisic or Yunus Musa, those guys ahead of him. But I think he has the intelligence and demeanor to really own a position like that for Milan. It would be hard for anyone to shift him if he gets a run of games in that position. But I do think they'd be missing out on the goals he can provide because he scored in both games this international break. So that's a problem for what's his face, Fonseca, not me.
Yeah. And Undav and Kimmich scored the goals as well as your boy from Inter, Denzel Dumfries. Dumfries, another one of your boys that just plays right. Yes. Not a right winger, not a right back, just right. That's it. Paraguay beat Brazil. Shout out to my boy Roberto. He texted me yesterday and said, "Hey, I think we're gonna beat Brazil." And I was like, you know what? I don't think you're wrong. And Brazil have been in a funk. And
baile funk.
Yes. That was a good one. Brazil, they look a mess. Spiritually, emotionally, physically, they look a mess. But this is what happens when you call up Lucas Moura. So, the Spurs was with them.
Listen, man, motherfuckers down in Brazil talking about, when we going to bring Neymar back. Neymar is retired, people. He plays in Saudi Arabia. He just tore everything. He's just coming back. He probably fat as hell right now. I ain't seen that nigga post nothing on Instagram for months. Forget Neymar. Let the man live.
I saw Neymar's recovery.
Yeah. Oh, right. I saw him doing rehab with Gabi Jesus. That nigga's hurt too.
No, so... it wasn't with Gabi Jesus. It was with a trainer.
Yeah, this was before the season started. I saw that.
No, I'm talking about this. It's like last week. I saw it like the other day, and let's just say this: if you really miss Neymar, go watch some Corinthian comps or some Santos comps. Sorry, that's what I can say. That's the nicest way I can say that he's fucked.
Yeah, he said y'all need to wake up, abandon the dream, and just wake the fuck up because it's over. I would say that Brazil's next two fixtures are against teams that are at they have 10 teams in CONMEBOL. So I think the two teams at the bottom of the league standings right now for these World Cup qualifiers, I forget who they are, but Brazil plays those two teams next. So they should, in theory, on paper, be able to win at least the first game, then maybe take that momentum into a second game and get some points. So if anyone is concerned that Brazil won't be at the next World Cup, they can tuck that. But before the game, Dorival Jr., Brazil's manager, said that we can bank on them being in the final in 2026. Like, they're going to be there and they're probably going to win it. Oh, you rolled your eyes already. So I ain't even going to ask the question because that's the exact same way I feel. Like, nigga, you're too far away from that to be talking shit. Just focus on your fucking job. Focus on getting Neymar skinny. How about that? Let's start there.
Get him a BBL and some Mozambique. That's a good segue because Brazil plays Chile next, and Chile created some history. They lost at home to Bolivia. This is Bolivia's first away win, not just in, CONMEBOL qualifiers, not just in everything, since 1993. Okay?
That is wild.
I was 3 years old the last time they won.
Bro, you got to stop giving people your social security information on the fucking internet, man. Stop this. That said,
Bill Clinton was president.
I didn't watch the game, but I heard that that Chile just kind of went all crazy and just picked a bunch of attackers. Like, the team was really unbalanced. And, when a team like Bolivia has been losing consistently since 1993, apparently it was 67 straight away games that they didn't win across all comps. I can see you taking a risk like that, but now you're a part of the record books, and you never want to be that guy, So sucks for Chile.
Yeah, and Bolivia, they just like San Marino, man. They created history and finally won a game. So shout out to them.
It must be that week. It's the Mercury must be in retrograde or some shit, or Gatorade or whichever one.
If you are a betting man, go bet on Southampton, and we'll get into that later.
Yeah.
Last but not least, Argentina lost to Colombia 2-1. Argentina's some sore losers, bro.
It's what they do, man. It's national heritage. Like, they win, they're assholes. They lose, they're assholes. They're just assholes. I blame the inflation, bro. I blame the inflation.
Yeah. Well, we got our revenge with Colombia when we said they were the best team in the world and they beat Argentina. Not in the final, but they won.
That final wasn't even real, man. They had Shakira there for half the fucking time. Motherfuckers was fucking invading the stadium. It wasn't a real game. Game was delayed like 2 hours. If all that didn't happen, Colombia wins easily, 4-0.
Yeah. And James scored, and freaky ass Mosquera scored.
Yeah, man. James from a penalty. He might be the preeminent set piece specialist in the game right now. He hasn't even played for Rayo Vallecano yet, and he's still bagging goals for Colombia from set pieces. I can't remember the last one he scored from open play, to be honest. Just set pieces, like penalties, corners, free kicks. Anything that doesn't require running, he's good at.
Legend. We love it. Let's look at the weekend, man. Serie A, we got Atalanta versus Fiorentina. Very delicious game, that one.
Yeah. Nicolas Gonzalez plays for Fiorentina, and he scored Argentina's goal in their loss against Colombia. What we didn't mention, sorry to go back, this was the first game where Argentina acknowledged to themselves that, okay, it's time to move on without Lionel Messi. Because they won that final against Colombia without him because he was essentially injured, or he got injured in that game, if I recall correctly. And this is the first game where they're like, okay, the GOAT is done. It's time for us to move on. And I'm not going to say Gonzalez stepped up, but he was certainly more prominent in this game than I've seen him in past Argentina games, So I'm not going to say I'm rooting for them. I'm not really rooting for Argentina. They've had enough success for a little period. And now that Messi is gone, I hope they go back to their dumbass, who's the next Maradona shit? Well, now it's the next Messi. So here we go. Go.
I have to correct you, by the way. Nico Gonzalez does not play for Fiorentina anymore.
Where did he move to?
Juventus.
Ew. Why?
Do you not understand how many Fiorentina players go to Juventus? It happens all the time.
I know, it's still nasty. I don't like it.
I mean, a player to look out for in Fiorentina is Emir Richardson, the NBA player's son, the 6'5" Moroccan. He plays at Fiorentina now.
Why the fuck would I want to look out for a basketball player in a football game?
The kid is nice. The kid is really nice. His dad played in the NBA. That's all.
Barely, but man. I seen the comps. People just get really excited when a tall nigga can play without tripping over himself. Like, you don't have to show me something outside of Ligue 1.
That's why we said watch the game this weekend.
So who does he play for again?
Who? Nico Gonzalez?
No, Amir Richardson.
Fiorentina.
Oh, that's good progress. If they already pulled him out of France, then I'm impressed. I'm already
Yeah,
impressed. Okay, we will watch the game. We will be there. We will be there.
That's why I brought it up. He plays for Fiorentina, and Moise Kean plays there, and David De Gea too.
Okay, I don't care about them two niggas.
Yeah, Bundesliga, Heidenheim, who's top of the league. They play against Dortmund to start off the weekend, so that's gonna be delicious.
Top 4 battle, top of the league versus number 4. You know what? I don't know what Dortmund we're getting this year yet, so I ain't gonna talk too much shit. We're just gonna watch the game.
Yep. We got Leipzig versus Union Berlin. Another delicious game.
Money on Leipzig in that one. Money on Leipzig.
Okay.
I think
we got
Leipzig,
Hoffenheim.
I mean, Leipzig ended Leverkusen's winning streak in the Bundesliga. I feel like they're going to parlay that energy into something useful this year. Like, it's going to be a lot of energy drinks popping this season. You know, let's see how it goes.
Hoffenheim versus Leverkusen. This is going to be a delicious one to watch.
Yeah, for sure. But money on Leverkusen. They're going to bounce back immediately. You can't take 2 L's in a row. Can't even draw. You got to kill these motherfuckers. 5-0. Let's go.
Yep. La Liga. We got Sociedad versus Madrid. Delicious.
Who you got winning that game?
Madrid. Because Vinny, it's probably gonna be 2-1. Vinny's gonna be a man on fire because he's gonna hear some monkey noises.
Is he away?
I think so.
Who got the home? Who got the home game? Let's see. Let's look at these fixtures again.
Yes, Sociedad.
Okay.
I know. Yeah.
Okay, Vinny is good for like 0.69 xg. Pause.
Nice. And we got a derby. We got Girona versus Barcelona. I'm intrigued by this. Very intrigued.
These niggas some haters, man. Y'all doing a derby this early in the season. Y'all trying to take some shine away from London. I see you niggas. You niggas not low. I see what you're doing, but it's not gonna work. It's not gonna work, Javier Tebas. It's not gonna work.
They got some new players there. They got Dungeon is always moving. Like, why is Dungeon always moving?
Wait, wasn't he at Villarreal like 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, he's at Girona now.
God damn. This nigga gotta
stop moving.
Man. You gotta stop moving. Like, why is he moving so often? Like,
he's just always moving, bro. He just doesn't stop moving.
Yeah, he's like a fucking Team Wanelka or some shit.
Yeah. Both Muslim. Ligue 1, PSG versus Brest. That's gonna be a very interesting game. Our favorite team, Brest, but they're gonna get blown away.
Nah, man. I mean, I think it's definitely gonna be a succulent matchup, and I hope one of the teams can parlay a good result in this game into a season-long bounce. And things will be good. Things will be good. I'll be watching out for sure. This is a Champions League matchup. Brest is in Champions League, man.
Yeah, it's a perky matchup.
Because that's where perky teams belong. The Champions League, the best league.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Lens versus Lyon. That's gonna be interesting.
Titties. Sorry. All that breast talk got me all sneezy. Lens Lyon. Who you got?
I got Lyon.
I got Lens. Lyon about to embarrass themselves again. They're so unserious the last 2 years.
Do you know there's a Nigerian midfielder that plays for Lens?
What's his name?
Hazmat. That's the only thing I can say is Hazmat. I'm not gonna pronounce his last name here.
Oh, damn, you're embarrassing the entire culture, man. You shouldn't have brought it up. Let's see. What's this nigga's name? Hamzat. Hey. Jadira. Okay. So okay. He one of the gang. He one of our people. Jadira. All right. We'll keep an eye out for him.
Yeah.
Midfielder, you said?
A midfielder. Defensive midfielder. Play for Nigeria U23s, and good for him.
I played 2 games about Nigerian midfielders. For them to be any good, they have to be either Yoruba or from Benin. Like, Igbo boys can do the striker shit. They can do the defending shit. But that midfield shit, that's our shit. But I'm probably wrong if I do any research.
Because our GOAT is Sunday Lisse.
Yeah, but he from like Benin. He not Igbo.
Huh?
Okay. From Edo area, but people don't care about that. Let's move on.
We're about to have a whole eugenics Nigerian podcast.
Oh my God.
Marseille versus Nice.
Well, we voting for Nice, definitely. FC 69 versus Nasty Man FC. We're voting for 69 on this one. Fuck that.
Very nice. Saint Etienne versus Lille.
Yeah, this just feels very heritage to me. Like,
yeah, listen, Leo is a very interesting team because We got to see what Jonathan David's gonna do.
No, we don't. And why the fuck did you walk away from the mic?
I was having technical.
Don't nobody care about Jonathan David, bro. Like, you guys need to stop making him a theme. Like, he's not a theme. He will never be a theme. He might be a theme for Canada, but, they may have won that game, but nobody cares. They're still America's hat. It won't fucking matter. He doesn't matter. Fuck Fabrizio Romano. He's never leaving Lille. There. I said it.
The end. Okay. Well, let's look at the Premier League. Southampton play Man United. They haven't lost. Man United haven't lost to St. Mary's in forever. Do you think Erik ten Hag is going to be the one to finally break that streak? And why is your answer yes?
It's yes because I've lost respect for Erik ten Hag. There's too much about him that reminds me of the debate last night. And I can never root for a nigga like that, and you know what? He does have a streak of setting all these ridiculous records on fertility for you guys. So if there's a United manager that's going to fuck up at St. Mary's, it's the bald one. That's for fucking sure.
We lost 4-0 to Crystal Palace. We lost 7-0 to Liverpool. We lost 3-0 at home to Liverpool recently. And he still has a job. And you expect me to be confident in going into, what's it called? Into this game?
Hashtag Barclays wank. that's what Erik ten Hag got y'all on right now, man. Barclays wank, because it's just bad, man. Like, honestly, as much as I'm enjoying this, there's a part of me that doesn't enjoy it because of the heritage of the game. I'm like, man, I know the game goes in cycles. I know that for most of United's history, they weren't this great team like the one in the 90s and early 2000s. But still, man, like, there's just so much. I mean, I feel like so many coaches, including some on United's bench, could do so much better than him. So,
like Rihanna said, come at Rude Boy. So there you go. Brighton hosts Ipswich. New young coaches. They're clashing at the Amex. That's gonna be fun.
Yeah, man. Munyan, what's his name? What's the Ipswich name? The United nigga that you wanted.
Kieran McKenna.
Yes, because I cannot stand that Brighton nigga. And that's not because of the way his team played. Actually, the way his team played. So, you know what I don't like? Quick tangent. The way the media that goes from the commentators watching the game to the people who write the articles afterwards, they ignore the way teams that are supposedly not big six or whatever teams, like when they play dirty or when they dive and do all this nasty shit, it gets overlooked. They don't even mention it. It's almost as if because the teams are in theory worse than the teams they're playing against, that they have the right to play like assholes. And I feel like Brighton did a lot of that at the Emirates. I'm still not over the Declan Rice red card. I'm never getting over that shit. And this dumbass coach with his fucking hairline that's about to eat his eyes talking about, there's a huge difference between the João Pedro thing. Man, fuck Brighton, man. Brighton is my ops moving forward. I hope Tony Bloom loses all his gambling winnings, and I will be there to laugh at this nigga is a sinner, man. This nigga gambling to run a football club. He is a sinner. Son of a bitch. I hate these niggas, man. I hate Brighton is my op now. I used to love that team so much. Brighton my op. Shout out Chris Hughton.
Good rant. sound like Tan Man yesterday.
I know, man. I'm like, I should not have watched that shit, man. I never watched those shits, and I watched that shit. And now I'm on the podcast just talking, lying on niggas and shit, talking about immigrants and fucking dogs and cats and shit. Like, it's bad, man. Let's just wrap this shit up.
Crystal Palace versus Leicester. Real Barclays energy, this one.
Yeah, for real, man. Like,
may the spirit of Yannick Bolasie carry us.
Yeah, I think Crystal Palace should take this one. I think this is when their season starts for real, because I feel like they've played well in all their games. Really, they just haven't gotten results yet. So
yeah, do you know? I realized that Crystal Palace signed over the summer the Senegalese dude. Why am I forgetting his name?
What position does he play?
Ismaila Sarr.
Oh yeah. It's weird. I expected his career to be somewhere higher by now, and that's not a diss to Crystal Palace. It's just that when I saw him at Watford years ago, I was like, oh, this nigga's a problem. But wasn't he at Marseille a little bit?
He was, and only scored 3 goals.
Damn, that's weird.
Mm-hmm.
Oh well. Yeah, he's got time. Like you said earlier, development is not linear.
Nah, not at all. Fulham hosts West Ham in the London Derby. One of the many London derbies this weekend.
Word. I know they changed their manager over the summer. They got Julian Lopetegui in there. but I don't really know what he's supposed to be doing differently from David Moyes. Like, I'm just waiting for the West Ham fans on the internet to bitch about something, then I'll know what he's bad at.
Yeah.
That's how I follow some teams. I just wait to see what their fans hate, and I'm like, them niggas is bad on the wings.
Nasty ass hater. Liverpool hosts Nottingham Forest. They should pummel them.
Yeah, we can just move on. You know, like the bald man will continue being bald and excellent.
Yeah, he looks like a Harkonnen. Man City plays against.
Don't you wish your manager looked like a Harkonnen right now?
I don't. I wish my manager had hair.
It would not help. It would not help. I promise you that much.
Some Lego hair. 115.
You can't have that. You can't have that.
A team with no Barclays heritage because nobody posted any of their players. Man City plays a.
That's so harsh. That's so harsh. Like, I know we're not friendly to them on this podcast, but I can't think of many teams that have better. I mean, Sean Goder, Adam Johnson.
Nonce.
Wait, that's the nonce. Fuck. Let's just move on. Yeah, fuck their Barclays heritage. The second guy I thought of was a nonce.
I mean, they got Michael Johnson and Delano and Sean Wright Phillips, if that counts.
Yeah, and Richard Dunn.
There you go. Yeah.
Doesn't he like hold the record for own goals in the Premier League?
Yeah, they do.
That's the most Barclays ass nigga ever. Come on. Double figures in own goals? Richard Dunn? Oh, come on, man. That's a Barclays. Oh, come on, man. But yeah, keep shitting on them niggas. Fuck City.
They play against Brentford, whatever.
Those games be good. Like Brentford be giving them hands and shit. I know Ivan Toney is in Saudi now, but something could happen. I might watch that.
Yeah. Aston Villa host Everton in the Lucas Digne derby. So
good joke. I got nothing else. I expect Villa to win this. Everton they did, to be fair, they suffered that crazy comeback against Bournemouth before the international break, where they basically conceded 3 goals in what felt like 7 minutes at the end of the game.
Mm-hmm.
But Aston Villa is actually good, like really good, like consistently good enough to make an Arsenal fan nervous when he's playing against them. So
I don't when you beat them.
Well, I mean, it's never a problem, sometimes they beat us, but it's never a problem. I'm just put it like that, But yeah, I don't see Dyche getting through this.
This isn't also just Lucas Digne derby. This is also the Ashley Young derby.
Correct. You're absolutely right.
And for those of you who are listening to my voice right now, Ashley Young and Sean Dyche were teammates at Watford.
That is fucked up. Like history should not work like that. I don't like it. Like, what are you going to tell me next? Like, Sean Dyche opened his mouth and a bird shat in it too?
Nah, he shot on the bird.
That feels more Dyche shit to me. Yes. Yeah. That's some real Dyche shit right there.
Yeah. Bournemouth, they're playing against Hydra-owned Chelsea. They're infighting like shit right now, and it's keeping me entertained. Keeps me warm at night.
Like, I had a dream that...
Okay, Martin Luther King.
I'm telling you, bro. I am Martin Luther Bowley right now, because I had a dream that these niggas was beefing for like 10 years and they never sold the club, and they were just in stasis like Arsenal was for like 14 years and shit. And I'm like, if that's how Chelsea go out for real, the irony will be too delicious. Like, I will do everything within my power to have dinner with Arsene Wenger just so we can talk about that shit before we both die, because it'd be too fucking rich. Even though Arsene Wenger is not a FIFA show, but we're not going to talk about that right now.
Chelsea pre-Roman, they were pretty good Barclays heritage. Jimmy Floyd has
they have some players, man, like Andre Flo, Chris Sutton's dumbass, Gianfranco Zola. They brought Ruud Gullit to the country. They brought Gianluca Vialli to the country. They had Dennis Wise, Graham Lasso, Celestine Babayaro, Dan Petrescu.
Yeah.
Low-key, I think I've mentioned this on the pod before, and I promise I'd never do it again, but nobody listens to this. Who cares? But for a brief moment, because I don't really like the color red, I thought about swapping London teams. Then there was an Arsenal-Chelsea game where Nigel Winterburn destroyed them bitch-ass niggas, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to stay home. I was also very young. I was like 7 or 8 years old at the time, so, Tosin, edit this out. I don't want people to know how old I am.
What did Young Thug say? At first he was a Crip, then he was a Blood. I want to smoke with you. Anyways, let's move on. Wolves host Newcastle. They probably will sure have fun. They'll probably lose. So
yeah, we can move on there. I have nothing to add to that.
And then the last,
I would like it if Mosquera makes it back from Colombia on time to play in this game, and him and Joel Linton or him and Bruno Guimaraes get into a fight during which both of them punch each other to death. I don't want to see either one of those niggas ever again in my life. I hate both of them. I hate them.
And the last game of the weekend, we say the best of the last. We have the North London Derby. Arsenal wearing the Free Palestine kits. And Mikel Arteta is about to go show everybody why his hair is made of Lego. Go ahead. I want you to wax lyrical about this.
You know, I don't know that I can wax per se, but I'm gonna say some words, and this is for any of the Arsenal fans listening to this. I think Arsenal has reached a phase in their development as a team, and a club perhaps, but as a team where Arteta has more than a few players that he actually trusts. Like, you don't let Fabio Vieira go on loan and sell ESR if you don't trust the 17-year-old that we've barely seen. The manager trusts him. That's why he took that chance. And when managers and clubs make squad decisions for the season, they make those decisions knowing that the situation Arsenal is currently in which what we all think our first choice starting midfield is going to be absent. That's Declan Rice, Martin Odegaard, because he hurt his ankle during the international break, and Mikel Merino, who basically hurt his shoulder in the first training session he attended. Thank you, Big Gabby. They're all missing from this game. I don't know what we're going to see. I think it's going to be Martinelli on one wing, Saka on the other wing, and sort of like a false 90 theme between Havertz and Trossard in the middle, with Jorginho and number 5 behind them. I think that's how that's going to work out. Don't really care what happens at the back because it should be solid. And I feel you should all feel the same way. You should all go into this game with confidence. Okay? Like, this is not a team that opens Yansh like Tottenham. Like, Tottenham, no matter how good they're playing at any given moment, you know their fullback areas are going to be open because of the system that Ange plays and the fact that he's not compromising on that shit. And while I respect that, I respect a stubborn, non-compromising ass motherfucker because that's the kind of nigga I am myself. That quality in a football coach is not the best. You need to humble yourself on occasion. So I'm going into this despite all the absences via injury. I'm going into this very confident as an Arsenal fan. I'm not afraid. I think we can get a result. I don't know if it's a win or a draw, but I think we can get a result for sure. And I'm very excited to watch the game, especially since we're going to be rocking the right fashions, you know.
Yeah, what disturbed me the most about that whole entire speech was when you said, "I'm not afraid," an Eminem song played in my head. And I know that it's time for me to go.
That, like, bro, I thought about that briefly. Like, now I can't watch the video for the song him and LL Cool J just put out because I'm like, that's too much Eminem for one day, you know, so we're not doing that.
As Gucci Mane once said in the Bible, you ran around and listen to Eminem with your old lady.
Hey, man, I got lost in the sauce, my nigga. I got lost in the sauce.
Listen, I am here as an active participant of just chaos because I know by the time 9:30 rolls around Eastern time on Saturday morning, I'll be cleaning up my apartment, cleaning it with tears because we lost to Southampton. So that's all I got.
You can't reverse jinx this shit, man. Like,
I can do it the fuck
these niggas for real. You're not going to try to finesse this shit and come back on another pod talking about, if you listen to the preview pod, no, nigga, I know what you're doing. Y'all niggas gonna lose, and I'm gonna be there laughing. Fuck y'all.
I know what you are.
I know what you are. You are Abdul, nigga. That's who you are. Fucking Russell Martin is about to bomb your house, nigga. Why? There's no need for you to claim, bro. Eric Ten Hag is about to betray your whole premises. Don't worry, man.
Yo, it's so funny because he's so on thin ice. It's so fucking funny. Like, he is so finished. Any wrong move, he's done. He's absolutely cooked. So, yeah. Football's back, baby. You got anything you want to have before we get out of here?
Nah, man. Y'all be good. Thank you for the support as always. Like, share, subscribe. Leave us a review if you're so inclined. We'd appreciate that. We still have plans for the 500th episode, but we're very disorganized Negroes, as you may have figured out from listening to this pod, for those of you that have been around for a while. But we got something special coming, and it'll be fun, we promise. And even if it's not fun, somebody's going to get some free shit. So what's not fun about that?
Yeah. Free shit from Nigerian people. Can you imagine?
Come on, man. Some shit we never do. We're not generous like that. Like, shit is hard back home, man. We don't do that shit.
No, that's why we got to the worst president. Anyway, we're out. Everyone take it easy. Peace.
Peace.
Take can't shut it off.